In 2025, organized violence took the lives of over 244,600 people, 2,44,000 cheso. That is nearly 250,000 people who did not come home. These conflicts erased an estimated $21.8 trillion from the global economy in a single year. Resources that could have built schools, hospitals, and clean energy grids were instead consumed by destruction. The political leaders who give the orders to attack rarely face the physical dangers of the battlefield. While ordinary citizens lose their homes and livelihoods, the decision-makers themselves remain insulated from the physical and financial fallout. Under our current global system, the people who designed these wars are often shielded from the very consequences they set in motion. Professor Kapileshwar Mishra, a distinguished academic leader and engineer from India, analyzed these failures through the lens of institutional design. He approached global conflict as a structural flaw that requires a precise, engineered response. This framework, the Conscience Ultimatum, or Bivekota Charamabani, is a scientific and economic blueprint for world peace. It treats stability not as a political favor, but as a system built on accountability. Think about building a house. You cannot expect a roof to appear just because you signed a contract. You have to lay a foundation, build the walls, and inspect the work step by step. Durable peace requires the same calculated approach. By applying engineering principles to international relations, we can shift the incentives so that peace becomes the only logical choice for any leader. The blueprint rests on three main pillars. The first is awakened sovereignty, or Jagratha Sarvabhaumatva. Imagine a ruler's power like an umbrella. Its only purpose is to protect the people underneath it from the rain. If that umbrella suddenly flips inside out and becomes a weapon against those same people, it has lost its reason to exist. Under this pillar, a government's international legitimacy is tied to its conduct. A state loses its standing the moment it turns its weapons against its own population or initiates avoidable, destructive conflict. Sovereignty is no longer a blank check for violence. It is a conditional trust that must be earned by protecting human life. The second pillar is a mechanism designed to enforce that accountability, the Peace Impact Assessment. Before initiating military action, leaders must publicly disclose the expected loss of civilian life and economic damage. If a leader ignores this and starts a war anyway, automated economic and reputational penalties are triggered, hitting the decision-makers directly. By making the true cost of war publicly visible and personally expensive for leaders, we remove their ability to claim that the human consequences were unforeseeable. The final pillar is a structured roadmap for recovery, the 5-year Peace Covenant, or Panchavarshia Shanti Chukti. Many peace treaties fail because they assume the work is finished the moment the fighting stops. But moving from a ceasefire to a functioning society requires a multi-year process. The covenant begins with immediate cessation of hostilities to stop the bleeding and allow aid. Next, focus shifts to reconstruction and structured dialogue, rebuilding infrastructure and addressing grievances. Finally, an independent audit verifies progress. Peace is only permanent once benchmarks are achieved. This benchmark-driven approach prevents leaders from faking compliance and ensures that peace is actually built to last. Dr. Mishra's blueprint shifts the pursuit of peace from an aspiration into a structured, engineered reality. When leaders are finally forced to carry the true reputational and financial weight of their actions, peace becomes the most logical path forward. We do not have to accept a cycle of global destruction. This legal and economic framework offers a practical way to change the incentives of power. Please share this video, talk about the Conscience Ultimatum with your networks, and help spread awareness of this structured framework for peace. By demanding better global engineering, we can begin to build a future where protection is the standard, rather than the exception.